Good morning, and thanks for taking time today to take a peek at this video from Community Life Church. It's Tuesday morning. I'm trying to do a sermon synopsis for the sake of people who weren't here on Sunday or those who just may be curious. The title of the message on Sunday was Don't Walk on Escalators. If you've ever been on an escalator or a people mover, I am certain that you have encountered people who are in too much of a hurry to let the escalator do its work by itself, or to just stand on the people mover and enjoy the ride. There are always people in a hurry. I'm looking at my sermon notes on YouVersion, the YouVersion app, just as a reference point. But one of the things we talked about Sunday is whether we realize it or not, we're already moving fast enough. The earth rotates on its axis at the equator at the speed of 460 meters per second. That's 1,000 miles an hour. We're spinning around. That's sort of a good description of life at times. And then the earth whirls around the center of the galaxy at 220 kilometers per second, which is 490,000 miles an hour. So in some ways, we're on a people mover. We know life is short, but there actually are times in our lives when we're trying to hurry up. And when we get in a hurry, at least when I get in a hurry, that's when things get dicey. I make mistakes. I fail to pay proper attention to people. And things just never go well when I'm in a hurry. But everyone is busy, even on Graham and Ann. I guess there was a time in my life when I thought that Graham and Ann was less busy than other places in the big city. I know that not to be true. Every one of our lives are busy. As a matter of fact, the older you get, the busier it seems to get. I look at people every week who are retired who make retirement not look that good to me. Some of the retired people I know are busier than those who are not retired. And there's always something to do. If you don't take control of your time, someone else will. And the busyness is really not what I wrestle against so much as a hurried mind. My body can be busy, but when my mind becomes hurried, when I become overwhelmed, as Anjanette said on Sunday, then that's when things really go wrong. So what does an unhurried mind look like? An unhurried mind is a mind that understands that you can't do everything. Everyone has limits. And so you don't spend a lot of time beating yourself up about that. There are people who have priorities. Even if they're not written down, they live by a set of priorities. So for instance, we have beaches, beautiful beaches all around us. And every day I try to get on one of them. I'm not doing real good at that now, but there's something very important to me about time that is not frantic, hurried time. There are people who are able to say no. That's never been easy for me. It's maybe a little easier than it used to be. And maybe it should never get too easy. But to learn to say no, to represent yourself fairly, is very important. Someone sort of added this under that ability to say no point on Sunday. I guess it was Mark. He said, we aren't people pleasers. That's one of the things we have to learn as we get older. We cannot always try to please people. I had a lady write a verse in my graduation card from Graham and Ann High School years ago, and it's stayed with me over the years. It just says, if a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it's because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music he hears, however measured or far away. And I think an unhurried mind understands the importance of self-care. One of my favorite portions of Scripture is Luke 5:15 to 16. Here's Jesus. It says, "Yet the news about him spread all the more, so that crowds of people came to hear him and to be healed of their sicknesses. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places." Now here's the prototypical preacher who came to seek and save those who were lost, who sometimes walked away from opportunities that he had to preach to crowds. I don't know too many preachers that would do that very easily. I know I couldn't do that. But Jesus did it. And he also withdrew from times, I'm sure, when people struggled to get others to him who had need of healing. And they probably heard that Jesus was at a certain location. They took them there to discover that he was nowhere to be found, because there were times when Jesus was unavailable. And you know what? There's no shame in you being unavailable by times, or me being unavailable by times. I think self-care is described in Isaiah 40:31, a verse that you might not know by the reference, but you'd know, a lot of you would know, those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And I like that picture. I think it's a picture of busyness, but an unhurried state. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not grow weary. And I think that one of the beautiful characteristics of people who may be busy but unhurried is that they are fully present and attentive. I have found in my life that some of the busiest people always seem to find time for others. Certainly it's been true for me. They've found time for me. Somehow they are able to carve time out of their busy schedule, and not just to do that, but to sit with me, to hear me, and to give me focused attention. And it is as though they never had another thing in the world to do. These are busy people, but they're not hurried people, and they're not making me feel hurried. I like the verse, the Message version, Matthew 6:34. It says, "Give your entire attention to what God is doing right now. And don't get worked up about what may or may not happen tomorrow. God will help you deal with whatever hard things come up when the time comes." I have this poem that I actually came to me. I was walking my dog in the Red Point Road from the beach one day. I just had a couple phrases come to me. It says, "The ocean breeze, the sky so blue, 100 things I have to do, but this one thing not on my list far surpasses all the rest. Too busy to fill my lungs with air, too busy to take the time to care. Places to go and people to see. How would the world survive without me?" I chuckle as I write these words. On paper they seem insane, absurd. I am not God, nor want to be. Not even I can depend on me. Stop, breathe, listen, stare is what I should have written there. Atop the list that robs my soul and makes my heart an empty hole. Forgive me, Lord. Help me see. My heart's delight is found in thee. For you are love from A to Z, and pleased when I can simply be. Now, my prayer for you this week is that the Lord would give you an unhurried mind, whatever busyness that there is that you face this week. that you would take time, wait upon the Lord, Isaiah says, or actually withdraw. Just withdraw, just make yourself unavailable, and find a way to not let the world run your life. Hebrews says, therefore, we should lay aside every weight, the sin that so easily entangles, and run with patience. It means we establish our pace. We don't let someone else establish that for us. And in following Christ, who is never in a hurry, there is peace, no matter what the circumstances may be that you face. Thanks again for taking the time to watch the video.